Sunday morning. I'm going to go back in time a bit on breakfast this morning. Someone mentioned in one of their comments to my videos, how come you're so wrapped up in Texas and so patriotic? And I said, well, perhaps it's because my family goes back to 1832 in Texas. I'm fourth generation. And I'm also 10th generation American, which goes back to 1661. So I guess that's a good reason for me to be patriotic to both the U.S. and Texas. So sort of to celebrate that this morning, I'm going to make a breakfast that was the bill of fare of a hotel in Williamsburg, Virginia in 1712. It's collops and eggs with toast and compote. Now the first thing I had to do was get on the internet and find out what the Sam Hill collops were. Collops, I mean, C-O-L-L-O-P-S. I'll explain as I'm cooking them. Well, in looking up collops, I found it was thinly sliced fresh pork that had been smoked. In other words, bacon. And thinly sliced was a kind of euphemism there for how thick to slice it with a knife. So I went to Sprouts and I got some of their thick sliced, uncured bacon. That had been smoked in apple wood smoke. And the secret to cooking bacon without it wrinkling up and turning into little squiggles is to start with a cold skillet. What I'm doing here. Now they would have cooked in those days in open hearth cooking. And would have used cast iron. But since I don't have a cast iron skillet big enough for this, I'm going to use my old steel skillet that's way older than I am. It probably dates back into the late 1800s. And turn that on to medium. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare the rest of it. The compote was easy because I already knew what that was, a stewed dried fruit. And I made this yesterday, stewed apricot with cranberries. Cranberries in those days were not called that. They were either referred to as bogberries or bitter berries. The Indians had a word for it. I don't remember what it was. It meant bitter fruit. But you stew them with some sugar and they become nice and sweet and develop a nice body around them. So I'm going to warm those this morning. Oh, and how they got the name cranberry? The Germans had settled in that area where they had bogberries or bitter berries. The flower that blooms before the fruit starts making reminded them of a crane, of the bird of crane, so they called them craneberries, which generated into cranberries. As the bacon starts cooking, you turn it. That's a little bit hot, I think. To keep it from wrinkling up. That way it'll cook flat.
and it's got a lot more moisture in it than cured bacon does. Curing bacon with sodium nitrite and salt and sugar removes a lot of the liquid out of the flesh, and it has to cook out where it's not cured. Okay, everything else is done, so we will cook the eggs now. And you want this water boiling, but not rolling boil. And the eggs at room temperature if possible. This is almost poached, but not quite. Slide them in with the least disturbance possible, and just leave them. You can see there's still clear liquid around the white, the yolk of the egg. I'm going to stop the camera now and let them cook a little bit longer before I take them up. You can test the doneness on the egg by shaking it slightly, and you see the yolk goes back and forth very easily. They're still a little bit rare on the white side there, so I'm going to wait a little longer on them. Well, check these. Yeah, they seem to be not liquid now, so use a slotted spoon and carefully pick it up and let it drain. And get rid of any water possible there. Extra white in here that you can pick up out of it. Put it along with them here. And I've already got the compote over here on the plate, so that's ready to go to the table. Well, here it is on the table. It's got the bacon here, my 2 eggs, toast, and the compote, and it looks good. And I'm also going to see if I can eat it British style with the knife in the right hand and the fork in the left. That's going to be a test on me. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a bite of this compote here. I like stewed dried fruit. I'll try a bite of the eggs. Remember, keep this fork in the left hand and use the knife and your bread. So I'll put some egg up on the end of my bread here with the knife. Tastes like poached eggs. Try a piece of this bacon for collops. None of the salty taste of bacon. It just smoke flavors, all there is to it. Some more eggs. It sure feels awkward using my knife to do this. But if I'm going to be authentic, I'm going to be as authentic as possible. Well, all I can say is 400 years ago they ate pretty well. This is a hotel bill of fare and quite a bit above what the average person ate. They were mostly into porridges and stuff like that for breakfast, leftovers from dinner, and they usually only ate 2 meals a day. They didn't eat anything at lunch, and then they had a huge dinner. And typical was 2 or 3 meats and 3 or 4 vegetables, kind of like a Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner layout. So, God bless America, God bless Texas.